but I'll be on it always, always and ever.
Hi you guys, if you want to see more content from me, whether short form or long form content is always posted on YouTube, so you can just like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in seeing short form content from me, I have both my Instagram and my TikTok and my link tree in my description, as well as in my channel bio. This video is going to be a little different than my other videos. I have been vulnerable with you guys before, but this is going to be the most vulnerable I'll ever be with you guys. I'm going to be sharing my testimony with you guys. It's going to be kind of a longer video, but it's definitely going to be hopefully not too emotional, but it's going to be an emotional one. I do want to give a trigger warning. The video does cover sensitive topics, very, very sensitive topics, but it's my truth. And I asked God to give me the strength to tell you guys my story so that I can also simultaneously heal from what I've been through. This channel I created because this is something I've always wanted to do. At this point in my life, this is something that I want to pursue. I'm pursuing a lot of things, but this is definitely something that I'm pursuing that's just for me. And this is the first thing that I've done that is just for me. Like, yeah, I do like create the content so that you guys see it and so that I can garner support and build my community. But this is a decision that I made all on my own, just for myself. Back in, I believe, the summer of 2023, there had been an argument with me and my mother, and it was a really bad argument, one of the worst arguments we ever had. That had basically spun into her leaving me and my younger brother at my grandmother's house for a year or two. I think about 2 years. And throughout the entire point, I didn't have my mom. I was working a full-time job at the time. That was a very emotional time for me, like a very emotional time. I never felt alone. Mind you, my mom was a single mother. It was just me, her, and my little brother our entire lives. Despite the other children that she had, like, it was just me, her, and my brother. So that really shook me, and it just put me into kind of a dark place because I was working on moving into my apartment with my boyfriend at the time. And we had already put a deposit down and everything on that apartment. We had put thousands of dollars down on that apartment, and we were literally set to move maybe like a few months after that situation had happened, and that never came to fruition just because of him breaking up with me. And that was my boyfriend of 2 years. So that really shattered me. Like, so many things were just happening at the same time. So many people were leaving me. I'm just like, why are all these people leaving me? And it just put me into a really dark place where I stopped caring about myself. After my boyfriend had left me, I just became very promiscuous. Like, my heart was so hurt. I was like, I gotta feel good. I started sleeping around with all the men that came up to me and were like, hey, you're so pretty, I want to get to know you. At the time, I was so hurt that I engaged with them, and that was something that I did that I'm not proud of. Like, I'm not proud of. I didn't do it for no reason. Like, a lot of these men I did have genuine interest in, but I just feel like I was giving intimacy to these men that I didn't really know, and it was beyond me. Like, that wasn't who I was. Growing up, I wasn't a super sexual person. I didn't even get my first boyfriend until I was like 18, and I didn't have like lose my virginity until I was like 19. So it was very, very difficult for me to process how I felt about not only my mother leaving, but my boyfriend of 2 years leaving, and then staying at my grandmother's house. I just didn't really feel accepted. I didn't really feel seen. I felt invisible. Like, I was working full shifts. I was a manager, so I'm having like absurd hours. So while I'm working these hours, I don't drive, so I'm Ubering back and forth to work every day, literally just having to survive on my own for 2 years. So boom, summer of 2025, have a pool party. It was a really nice pool party. I loved the pool party. Everybody I invited to the pool party loved the pool party. It was fun. We had drinks, we had food, we had music, we had games. It was super, super fun. It was all the people from my workplace at the time. I got a message on my phone like towards the end of the night at the pool party. It was like, hey, like, why haven't I seen you in a while? And I'm like, whatever. So I text back the number. They don't reply until the next day, and they were like, yeah, like, I want to see you. And I was like, I don't meet up with people I don't know. Like, that I don't meet up with people I don't know. And the messenger was basically like, you know me. And I was like, huh? And they're like, FaceTime me. So I FaceTime them, and lo and behold, it's somebody I did know. Somebody that during the time I was being promiscuous, I had a connection with. And I basically just left him alone because he had so much going on. Like, and I just felt like, I don't know, my discernment was just telling me that something was off with this person. Like, I just felt like this person was not telling me the full truth. But because I was in kind of like a sneaky link situation with him, I was like, I don't really give a fuck. Like, you can lie to me, I don't really care. I'm gonna go about my day. I had already blocked him at one point when we had first started talking. It was really just because like he had too much going on, like way too much going on, and I was just not trying to deal with that. So I just dismissed myself from the situation, and that should have been the end all be all. He had reached out to me, and essentially he was like, hey, let me take you on a date. Let's go to the park. I love the park. So he's like, yeah, I got a car, I can come get you. We'll go to the park. And my happy-go-lucky ass, not really having anything to do that day, I was off work. Like, it's been a long time since I spent time with somebody outside of like my social circle. So, and it's summertime, like hot girl summer, like let's go to the park. I go to the park with him. We are at his house, and of course we have intercourse because we had done it before. And it was just really, really odd. Like, I had slept over that night just because he asked me to, and I was like, sure, like I'm grown, I can do whatever I want. And I spend the night at his house, and in the morning he gets a call on his phone, and it's his baby mama. I already knew he had a daughter, which I don't typically date men with kids, but it was his baby mama. And she called him and was like, hey, like, who are you around? And I was just looking at him like, because when you hear that, it's like, oh, okay, like, is your girlfriend? Like, what's going on? She was like, who are you around? And he's like, nobody. What's up? She was like, did you nut at me last time we had sex? Because I think like I'm feeling sick, like I think I might be pregnant. He was like, no, it's probably like some of the other niggas you talk to. And I'm looking at him like, okay. But that same day, I do hair, so he had asked me to do his hair, and I was like, okay, like I'll give you a retwist and I'll reattach your locks, whatever. He asked me to be his girlfriend that night, and I was like, sure. So when he asked me to be his girlfriend, we started being boyfriend and girlfriend, like for real. Around that time, I was still talking to other people, but like because he asked me to be his girlfriend, I was slowing down on talking to other people because I'm not a cheater. Like I would rather just leave you or stay single if that's the case. But I did have a genuine interest in him because we had spent so much time together. Like literally, it was like within 2 weeks in our relationship, he started asking me, not even 2 weeks, he asked me the first week that we started dating to move in with him. And I was like, that's moving pretty fast. I don't know. But I already didn't like my situation at my grandma's house. So I'm like, hey, like, if he's asking me to move in with him, I might as well move in with him. So, that night, I do his hair. And he's like, okay, I'll give you $500 for this. And I'm like, I don't really need the money, but ain't nobody about to turn down no $500. I get done doing his hair, and he's like, doesn't mention anything about the money at all. But he's like, okay, like, are you ready to go home? And I was like, yeah, I'm ready to go home. Like, I was so tired at this point, and I didn't have any clothes at his house because, like, at that point, I wasn't living there. He drives me home, and we pull up to the gas station. He's like, hey, like, can you put 5 in my tank? And I'm like, how are you just going to give me $500, but you don't even have $5 to put in your gas tank? But me being me, like, I'm like, we're literally across the street from my house, so I'm just gonna give him the 5, go home, and we're never gonna talk again after this. And then I asked him, I was like, how are you gonna say you're gonna give me money and not give it to me? He's like, well, we're gonna be together forever, so it really doesn't matter. I'm like, okay, whatever. Fast forward a week, we meet up again, spend the night at his house, because this is my boyfriend, so at this point, I'm spending the night at his house almost every night. Like, I'm with him all the time. And he gives me a ring. It's like a Pandora ring. It was cute. It was cute enough, but it was a Pandora ring. But he lied to me. He was like, yeah, this cost me $10,000. Not knowing, I literally looked up the ring. Like, there's a code on the inside of the ring that you can look up. And I looked it up just to see if it was real diamond, because I don't want no nigga give me no fucking vending machine ring. Like, we're not doing that. But yeah, I looked up the ring, and it was like $200. But I'm like, that's such a weird thing to lie about. And he tells me about all these things and all this money he got. and basically about he had told me before that he was a scammer. And even when I was on the phone, I was like, I don't know you, and he was like, FaceTime me. He did a money spread, and I'm looking at the hundreds and I'm like, those are really blue. Like, I know what $100 bills look like. Hey, I know what a few hundreds look like. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, those look super blue. Like, but I'm like, whatever, like, maybe it's my eyes, like, I'm not gonna pay it anyway. After that, he was telling me about how he's getting a disability check, basically because he had gotten in a accident. He tells me he was running from the police, and he had jumped off a bridge, so he had head injury, so he already had a brain injury that gave him seizures, on top of the knee injury that he had from like a four-wheeler accident, I think, when he was on vacation. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, even when I met him, he had a cast and everything, but it was his other leg. Like, it was like he kept getting hurt. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, last time I saw you, you were in a cast too. Like, are you okay? Like, yeah, it just hurts. So, you know, I would do things like rub his leg. I remember I bought like some really expensive Epsom salt to soak his feet with, because I'm like, yo, like, if your leg's hurting, you're my boyfriend, I want to make sure you feel better. I was cooking for this man, and at one point I was slowly moving things into his house because I wanted to give, like, I kind of wanted him not to bother me about not moving in with him, because he would always ask me, like, why don't you want to live with me? And I couldn't really answer the question as to why I didn't want to live with him. I was just like, you know, I'm still kind of scoping the scenery out. So I slowly started moving things into his house. Basically, after moving my things into his house, we started living together. But it's really on my dime. Every time he would take me to and from the work, you know, it would be like, I would be like, I'm gonna go home, you have to drop me off at home because I have to Uber to work tomorrow. He'd be like, I'm just gonna take you to work. Like, what do you mean? I would literally just give him gas money. He would pick me up from work and drop me off to work, but I would always be late. So I was risking losing my job, because he always wanted to have sex before we went to work, or before I went to work. He didn't have a job. I'm thinking he does, because he's telling me, he's like, I have my HVAC, you know, I'm certified, and right now, just because of my knee, you know, I can't work, but I'm getting a disability, like, I'm getting money, and I have money, I'm a scammer. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then that's when he starts asking me the questions of who you bank with, all that other stuff, and I'm like, oh no, I'm not getting into that with you. I'm not finna be the method, but I was the method. I was definitely the method. Fast forward maybe a month or so, his dad, who I initially met, who was really nice to me when I met him, he has schizophrenia. He told me that. His dad has schizophrenia. His dad had come and basically told me to go home. Like, I guess he got upset with his son about something and basically tried to kick me out of where we were staying. I'm like, no, like, if it's a problem with me being here, like, I'll pay you. Because I guess his dad owned the house he lived in. But I was like, if it's a problem with me being here, like, I'll pay my portion just to stay here, because I really didn't want to stay at my grandma's house. Because at that point, my grandma was also being like, if you keep going out with your friends, if you keep doing this, you're not telling me where you're going. Like, my grandma was just really controlling. If you keep doing what you want to do, then basically you're gonna have to find another place to stay. And because I was spending the night with him all the time, she was basically like, whoever you're staying with, you can just stay there. And I was like, oh, okay, so since that's how you want to act, I'm gonna go find another solution. So I'm staying with him, his dad is going off, and he comes up to me and he starts yelling at me and disrespecting me. And I'm like, I don't even know you. Like, who are you talking to? And his dad's just going off of the mouth, calling me all types of bitches, calling me all types of bum bitches. He's like, you don't even have a house, that's why you stay here. I'm like, I have a house. I'm just staying here because he asked me to. Like, it was just a whole ordeal. And he's like, okay, well, you have 3 days to go out or get out. And then, like, it was a whole situation where he had called the cops on him because he had a record. He was on probation. His dad called the cops on him. I don't know what the issue was. I guess because he wouldn't leave, because he was living there at the time. He was paying rent, not for the last month or so, but he was paying to live there initially. So the cops go there, they're like, okay, well, he was a tenant, so you can't just kick him out, you have to evict him. But his dad was just doing the most. He breaks down the fucking door. Like, he literally breaks down the door. And that's what the cops arrested him for, was destruction of property, and I think breaking and entering. His dad gets arrested. His dad's wife was so mad that she wrote the eviction letter, and he got evicted. So we're packing the stuff, all his stuff, into his car, packing my stuff as well into the car. And after that situation that happened with his dad, he just started getting really abusive with me. Like, he just had went off. He was talking about killing himself, all this different type of stuff. I'm not gonna lie, it was very, very weird. And he had literally put his hands on me. Like, he put his hands around my throat and he had pulled a gun on me. So I was like, what did I do? So I run out the house. I'm like, take me home. Like, I don't want to be with you anymore. I'm breaking up with you. He was like, no, I'll take you home in the morning. So I'm like, okay, fine, take me home in the morning. But like, I tried to call my friends. Nobody picked up the phone. Literally nobody picked up the fucking phone. And I didn't want to call my mom or my grandma because I knew it would be a bigger issue. So I'm like, whatever. I don't get in the bed because I'm not laying next to you. You just put your hands on me and you put a gun on me. And he's like, why aren't you getting in bed? He calls another girl. Was like, yeah, I'm just sitting in bed all alone. So you might as well just come over. Right in my fucking face. And I'm like, excuse me? Like, nigga, are you crazy? So I leave. And I call the cops on him because I'm like, since you want to play, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. The cops come. He's down the street. He comes walking without his car because he's not supposed to be driving because he has seizures. He's walking. And the cops are like, where the fuck is your car? Like, the cops they just wanted to arrest him because he was just doing a bunch of stupid shit. And he was just, like, looking really disheveled, covered in dirt. I'm like, you literally just left 5 minutes ago. Like, he got pulled off with my stuff in his car, so I couldn't leave. Because I had all my stuff outside when I was ready to go. I was like, okay, well, I'm ready to go right now. I'm going to call my friends. I didn't tell him I was calling cops. He was just, like, going off. And he was like, oh, there are a million bitches who want me, whatever. I was like, okay, well, I got something for that ass. I knew he was on probation too, but cops came. They were like, what the fuck? They were questioning him. The story didn't make sense. And I told them that he hit me. He put a gun on me. And basically, they put him in the back of the car. He's over here looking at me like, Brooklyn, like, please, like, this is gonna ruin my life. Like, what about my daughter? And I'm like, bruh, the cops are like, hey, do you want us to take him away? I'm like, no. So I say no. And he gets out the car and he's like, you know I love you, right? Like, it was really weird, toxic, really weird and toxic. So cool. He gets evicted the week after. And he packs up all his stuff. He stays with his cousin for a day. Whatever. He was homeless for 2 months. I was taking care of him. We were in and out of hotels. I didn't have to be with him, but I was with him because that was my boyfriend. In August, the beginning of August, I found out that I was pregnant. So when I found out I'm pregnant, he's homeless. We're trying to find places to live. And I'm like, okay, well, since I'm pregnant, I can't stay at my grandma's house. So I need to find a way to leave. So it takes a long, long time. He had another seizure while he was driving on the highway. His car got impounded. They gave it to his family, or his family took it. Didn't want to give it to him because he had a seizure on the highway. Cool. Basically, he had no car. He had no house. He was just wandering around the city, asking people for rides, random women, always doing him fucking favors. And I remember one time, a lady who was watching his dog because he didn't have a car or house, he pulled up and he's like, are you his baby mama? I said no. And then she was like, good, because he been fucking me for the last and I'm like, huh? So I look at him when he gets in the car and I'm like, you been fucking her? And it's like this older woman, like she's in her 40s, and like I was just like, there's no way. I was like, okay, take me home, because I'm like, you already homeless, you already don't got a car, like you planning with your own life at that point. So basically, eventually we do get a room. So we're renting a room in Stone Mountain. So we're renting a room and we're living in the room for about 2 weeks. I paid for us to get the room. One of his cousins is like, okay, like you pay me this amount of money and you can stay here until October. And I'm like, okay, like cool, that gives me enough time to set my bread, because I'm going to work. I'm working double shifts. I'm on my feet every day. I'm literally overworking myself, and I'm pregnant at the same time. The only person who knew at the time was my mom. My mom was like, no, like you just need to come up with me. I was like, no mom, I can do it, because I had been on and off with my boyfriend, and I just really didn't want her knowing that I was with my boyfriend at the time, because she doesn't like him, because he's unsafe. Like, he was unsafe. We live in that room. He had told her that I was just visiting and I didn't live there. So the amount that she told us was for just him. But he's telling me this is a price for both of us. So for like those 2 weeks, I'm giving them money. And then she was like, okay, and I'm gonna need extra this amount of money to put on top of that, because your girlfriend's been staying here without permission. And I'm like, without permission? And then she started bringing up like random shit about like me being in the kitchen, like, and she cooking in my kitchen. Mind you, I'm paying, so I'm thinking like, if I'm paying for this space, I can use it full discretion, all that. But she also knew I was paying because when I would send her the money through my bank, she would see my name, and I handed her the money, even though she knew. Like, it was really weird. Like, she was really weird ass bitch for that. And then we ended up getting an altercation. I wanted to put my hands on her because she was just being disrespectful as fuck. And then she had her boyfriend coming out with guns. It was just stupid ghetto ass shit. I was late for work this day, so I'm like, bro, I'm finna lose my job. So we get kicked out because I'm not paying her that money. I asked her for my money back. She gave me $350 back. It was a whole fucking $550. Boom. I'm not gonna argue about the issue. I argued about it with her. I wanted to fight her over it, but I'm like, I'm not gonna argue with nobody over fucking $200. It's just $200. When my mom pulls up, she comes and gets me. We end up in Atlanta. She knows that he's homeless at this point. And he had, every time we got in an argument, be like, okay, well, just abort the baby. Like, I don't even want the baby anymore. I don't want you anymore. I'm finna go live with another bitch since you wanted to. Like, he was really just taking out the anger from his circumstances on me. When we were living in and out of the hotels, he was pulling guns on me as well. And I remember one time he's like, yeah, I'm gonna kill myself. Like, he would keep trying to drink lean even though he knew he had seizures. And it's like, why am I trying to save you more than you're trying to save you? Like, you're making me look really goofy and really dumb. Because I was being really goofy and really dumb, but I'm pregnant, and I'm like, this is my baby dad at this point, so I don't want to go through this pregnancy shit alone. At this point, I'm living with my mom, but we're still living in and out hotels because he didn't want me here for whatever reason. Just control. You know how abusers do, they control you. So eventually we keep getting in arguments because I'm not finna sit here, and I find out he keeps talking to other people. I find out he's talking to men. I keep finding out shit about him being like talking to men romantically, like just being really weird, and him cheating on me. So I'm like, you know, I'm finna leave you. We broke up a few times throughout that point because I'm like, I'm not finna be with you anymore. My mom does research on him and finds out that he has a stalking charge from not even a year at this point, from October of 2024. So basically, I'm like, no, I don't want to be with you. You're a stalker. Like, you're weird. And you keep telling me to kill my baby. I'm not going to kill my baby. And you're stressing me out. Like, every day you're stressing me out. We're arguing. You don't have a house. You're sleeping in your car. And you're doing too much for me. Like, you're really putting me in harm's way. So there would even be times where he would not even let me sit in my mom's house while he went to work. He would want me to go everywhere with him, like, all the fucking time. Like, literally all the time. Like, I couldn't be alone at any point in time. I would watch his dogs. He went from not only one Rottweiler to 2, and that's also why we got kicked out of the room, because I didn't even know he was picking up a second Rottweiler. He didn't tell me. He just said, hey, we're about to go get the dog's brother. I'm like, for what? But he just picks up both dogs. He ends up selling one. We're riding around the city, going to every market, all ATL, trying to see who wants a fucking Rottweiler puppy. Somebody eventually bought him while I was in the mental hospital. The reason I ended up in the mental hospital is because I lost my baby. During one of our breakups, I had lost my baby. I was just bleeding a lot. And I was like, something's not right. During that breakup, I asked my mama, like, okay, can we go get a pregnancy test so I can see if I'm still pregnant? I wasn't pregnant anymore. And it just shattered me. Like, not only was I going through all of this and helping this man who constantly abused me, and just, because all this was on my money. So I ended up quitting my job, and then he started treating me like I wasn't shit. But he got a job. But I lost my baby and I lost my mind. I had tried to commit, and basically I called the police on me. They came and got me. I ended up in the behavioral health hospital for 5 days. Most traumatizing experience of my life. And when I get home, he's like, I got an apartment for us. Mind you, whole time I'm in the mental hospital, I don't know what he's doing. But he's like, I have an apartment for us. And I'm like, okay. I keep asking him to FaceTime me so I can see the apartment. He never FaceTimed me in the apartment. I kept asking him about the apartment. I'm like, can we just move to the apartment? Eventually, my mom's like, okay, well, since you don't want to take care of yourself, because I was being really irresponsible with my mental health by continuing to be with him after I got out of the mental hospital, because it was against doctor's orders. She had told my psychiatrist at the time about the relationship and how abusive it was. So since I still wanted to be with him at the time, she was like, okay, we'll go be with him. So I did, stupidly enough, and I ended up homeless with another dog, this random ass fucking Yorkie, Pomeranian mixed dog, just walking around the city, homeless, nowhere to go. And I got fed up. I called my mom. I was like, I had enough. I can't do this. Like, literally, I'm at my wit's end right now. Like, I don't have friends, I don't have a job, I don't have money, and I'm losing my family. My mental health is bad. I just got out the mental health hospital, because every time we would have an argument, he'd be like, okay, well, I'm just about to call them to tell them to come get you. And that would shake me, because like, I just got out the mental hospital, and I'm telling everybody in my life how traumatic that was, even him. It was just a very traumatizing situation. But I remember there was one night we had gotten an argument when we were staying in that room, because he argued with me a lot. Like, and I found out he was talking to other people around that time too. And I just bought us a room to stay in so you're not homeless. And I just got your car back so you can drive, even though you're not supposed to because you have seizures. He would get on me all the time. He's like, you don't know how to drive. Like, and I would ask him, like, mind you, he knew I didn't know how to drive when he met me. I'd tell everybody that. And he didn't care at first. He was like, okay, well, I can drive. He didn't tell me he had seizures at first as well. He didn't even tell me his real birth name. He lied about his age to me as well. So while I'm sitting there telling doctors everything while he's having the seizure, I'm like, yeah, she's 24. Whole time he's 21, just like me. He was constantly a hustle person, like, oh, I know this new way to make money. And because we're in the ATL, he was scamming and all that other shit. And I just had enough. I was tired. I had prayed that night outside of the room to God to save me. Like, I was like, God, like, I need you to save me. I don't have anyone. I can't go anywhere. Like, I need you to save me. Like, come, please save me. Like, and God swept through like a storm, honey. God came through like a storm, honey. He came through. He shut all that shit down. That nigga had an apartment with this other bitch. She ended up kicking him out, cheated on him, all this other shit when we really woke up. And he's homeless now. Shit, who knows what the fuck that nigga doing? I don't check in on him. He would blow me up through my emails, but because he had a stalking charge, I told him if he keeps reaching out to me, I'm gonna get another restraining order on him, because the girl from the stalking charge, I got a restraining order on him. So I was like, okay, if you really want to go the legal way, we can go the legal way. Like, I'm gonna make your life awful. You keep fucking with me. I'm gonna make your life awful. But yeah, his car got repossessed multiple times. He likes to lie and say he has things and he doesn't really have them, and he keeps posting fake money, and bitches keep falling for it. He's just such an insecure person too. Like, I would literally look at niggas walking, you know, like you do when somebody walks fucking in front of the car, and he'd be like, why are you looking at niggas all the time? Despite everything that I went through, I made it, y'all. That was just a big part of my testimony. God came through. He saved me. And after that situation, I had given my mom my phone because the doctors already told me I'm not supposed to be on my phone for 2 weeks after I got out of the hospital. And I decided to follow the doctor's orders. I was consistently taking my antidepressants. I gave her my phone. I was praying every day. I was in my word every day. I was talking to God. God was speaking to me. And after taking that break off, I just moved on. God carried me through all of the mourning, all of the pain. I currently am still in therapy and things like that because I do have PTSD from the situation, but God saved me. And that is my testimony. That's my story. I have this YouTube channel. I make content now. I have so much support in my life. Like, I have so much support in my life. You guys support me. I did lose a lot of friends. I lost a lot of friends. I lost a lot of people. But honestly, I gained so much peace. I have a $30,000 scholarship in my name. I got brand deals on my head. I'm beautiful. I lost weight. God really just elevated my life. I live in the city. I live in Atlanta, like the inner city, not Gwinnett. I live in Buckhead. So I'm just in a place I've always wanted to be. And all glory to God. I'm glad that you guys watched this video. If you did make it to the end, thank you so much for listening to my story. God bless you. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for opening your heart to me, and just being receptive to my story. All right, love you guys.